to the desert. NASCAR traveled cross-country this week, trading in sandy beaches for cactus. It's a regular stop on the circuit, but this year we are in Phoenix 9 months early. Back to the track where the Truck Series began. It's the series where new and old combine, baby faces ready to make their mark, but wily veterans stand in the way, and these drivers don't back down for just anybody. Actually, they don't back down ever. Phoenix used to be race number 24 on the truck schedule. This year, it's number 2. Early arrival, but same amazing landscape. It truly is one of the best views in all of sports. Anytime the trucks are on track, you have a front row seat. The setup, presented by Polaris, is once again on top of the world. You knew we'd be here, right? Welcome back to the setup. I'm Krista Voda for the 4th year in a row, coming to you live from the top of Rattlesnake Hill. Now, the drivers know this is the only time we come to this track, so they only have one shot if they want to claim a Phoenix win. So what are those drivers saying right now as we speak? Well, let's go downstairs, all the way down there. Ray and Hermie are standing by in the corral to find out what's on the drivers' minds. Ray?
Well, I'll tell you what, Krista, down here in the corral, the drivers just getting out. Spring Cup practice just finished here. We've got a lot of drivers. Hey, Joey, come here real quick. This is a guy I want you to meet because Joey Coulter, new to this series. You were terrible in practice and turned around and qualified 10th. How'd you do it?
It's, just everybody worked real hard this morning, and I got a lot of help from Austin. I mean, he helped me out a ton. I switched over radio channels and talked to him for 15 minutes sitting on pit road, and he's just telling me the kind of things he was doing and how he kind of attacked the racetrack the first time he came here. And, Harold Hawley just made awesome adjustments during practice and just really just let me get into the racetrack and learn it before we really started changing the setup a lot. And when we went to qualify, it just all kind of came together. I was really excited about it.
It looks like it. Joey Coulter is the rookie, and he's getting advice from the veteran, Austin Dillon. Hermie?
I got some teammates here, Justin Johnson. And, look, these guys have qualified well today. Dusty, you as well. What's going on behind the scenes with you guys? You got a side bet on who's going to finish up front?
No, actually, we really haven't had enough time to talk to each other today. We've been so busy doing our own thing and trying to get, our Vision Airlines Toyota Tundras up front. But right now, I think our goal just for this race is to finish well and earn respect from everybody else. And hopefully we can, maybe get lucky and somewhere in there.
Dusty, after your qualifying run, what are your expectations for tonight's race?
Well, my number one expectation was to make it in the race, and I'm glad I got that out of the way. Now it's just stay consistent in the top 20, and hopefully we'll be there at the end so we can get somewhere in the top 10. The Vision Airlines Destinations Florida Toyota Tundra is running good, so the key there is just stay out of trouble. So we're there at lap 125 so we can get there at the end.
These teammates have shown well in qualifying, Krista. Looking forward to turning that into solid race runs tonight.
All right, Hermie, a lot of drivers to keep our eyes on. Last week, all eyes were on the Truck Series. They were the first points race to baptize the new Daytona surface. Of course, it was also the 10-year anniversary to the day of Dale Earnhardt's death. Here's a look back at what became a bittersweet night.
On February 18, 2001, Michael Waltrip won his first Daytona 500. His friend and car owner, Dale Earnhardt, was killed on the last lap. 10 years later, Michael Waltrip hoped to honor his friend by running in the truck race at Daytona. While Waltrip started 11th, it was a black number 3 leading the field to the green flag.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go truck racing, boys and girls!
This is classic Daytona.
They're going to work together in big packs. We're going to see 2 and 3 wide racing.
This racetrack now has so much grip.
These guys are going to be all over the racetrack.
Nearing the end of the race, everyone wondered when we would see the big one.
Travis Bombal involved in this one. He gets sideways, and now they pile up behind him.
Yeah. Look at all these.
They're not done wrecking yet.
The 4th caution comes out, and it is the big one.
You see Corporal's truck just take off. He definitely had a tire going down as he headed up the track.
And then the aftermath. Then they start wrecking behind him.
They would have missed that wreck if it weren't for Nürnberger in the 07. He came in there wide open.
With only 2 laps remaining, drivers who had been patient all night grew anxious.
Now we're going to make it 3 wide here. Here comes the 31 of James Busher up the middle. I don't know if there's any room, but there they go. Problems as they go through the trial. Austin Dillon is caught up in it. The 31 of Busher's caught up in it.
That's the rest of the field, right?
They're all in it. They're all in it. The 2 that made it through, Elliott Sadler, Michael Waltrip.
This would set up a green-white checkered finish.
Michael thinks that being in second place coming off turn 4 is a winning move. Here he
Coming to the finish line.
He got him! Mikey, you got him! All right!
Hell yeah! God bless Dale, and his family and his fans. I came here to celebrate his life. I didn't come to celebrate a win, but this feels really good. I'm thankful.
Okay, now that race was not without controversy, as special of a win as it was for Michael Waltrip. NASCAR on Wednesday handed out a penalty to the team of Vision Aviation Racing. We want to show you why. The punishment came after the truck failed post-race inspection, specifically due to the rear spoiler not meeting specifications. You can see it here. The spoiler, or at least half of it, was laying flat as the 15 truck came to the white flag for the final lap. Crew chief Doug Howe was fined $25,000 and placed on probation until December 31st. There you see our points. Now, in NASCAR this year, you can only earn points in one series, so Michael is not the points leader. All 3 winners last week have declared other series. Check out the trucks that are in the top 10. The question everyone is asking, including some of the drivers, who is points leader Clay Rogers?
Who's Clay Rogers? You mean Todd's not leading the points?
I used to race go-karts with a guy named Clay. It was like 10 years ago. I don't know. Is that him? Clay? Clay who? Who is this Clay Rogers guy? I've never heard of his name before.
Clay Rogers. I mean, who's Clay Rogers?
Everybody's talking about just Clay who? Clay Rogers guy.
Clay Rogers? Who is Clay Rogers?
Clay who?
I'm Clay Rogers, and I'm your points leader, so look out.
That was a lot of fun. See, that's the kind of fun we have on the Truck Series, and Clay was a good sport. But there you see some of his stats, and he is a champion already. He's a 4-time Hooters Pro Cup champion. I believe Ray Dunlap is with our points leader.
Absolutely, Krista. And not only has he done great in the Hooters Pro Cup Series, but he's also won hundreds of late model races all around the country. But a different deal, you come into Phoenix as the point leader in Camping World Trucks, and you were out to be a little nervous about even making the show.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with our small team. I mean, coming in here with no points from last year, even though we're the point leader, which is great, we still had to race our way in, and we didn't unload very well at all. But we worked really hard during practice and made some spring changes and stuff, and made huge gains during practice, and it showed when it came qualifying time. But couldn't be happier with this Fleet HQ BTS Tire and Wheel Chevrolet. For a small team out of Sarah Gorda, North Carolina, we're just happy to be here and see if we can keep the water in the radiator tonight and have us another good finish.
All right, keep it rolling. That is Clay Rogers. He's our point leader, and another guy had a great finish at Daytona. He's standing by with Hermie.
You're right, Ray. That's Miguel Paludo, and of all the people I interviewed last week at Daytona, you seem to have that look in your eyes. Could not get over the fact that this was Daytona. Great run for you guys. Have you been able to come down from that cloud yet?
Yeah, it was a really good weekend, first time in Daytona, finished fourth. All the guys in a really good mood, and I couldn't ask for a better finish. So we try to keep pumped, first time here in Phoenix. The things are all right, not very good, but I think we had 150 laps during the race. We could do better. So thanks K&N Filters, the Toyota Tundra, and I think you're gonna have a good night.
He starts 31st, Crystal. He'll try to make his way back to the front.
All right, thanks, Hermie. I'm kind of jealous of those guys because I'm about as far away right now, as you can see, from the drivers as possible. But this is one of the best parts of coming to a race at Phoenix or watching it on Speed. We give you an up-close look, a glimpse, and take your breath away from up here on top of Rattlesnake Hill. When we return, the other half of our six-pack, Rick, Phil, and Michael, will join us. Of course, they'll be in the safe confines of the broadcast booth. Or will they? More from the mountaintop next. The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. Brought to you in part by Camping World and the Good Sam RV Club. Everything you need for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, insurance, roadside assistance, and more. And by Cici's Pizza, home of the endless pizza, pasta, salad, and dessert buffet.
You got it! You got it! You got it! Michael Waltrip has won the Daytona 500.
Here he comes! He got him!
first ever Camping World Truck Series race, 10 years to the day of his first Daytona 500.
I can't believe I'm up here doing this race.
Well, Elliott Sadler said last week if he couldn't win that race, he couldn't think of anyone more deserving than Michael. Taking a look at Phoenix International Raceway. Welcome back to the setup where up on top of Rattlesnake Hill, it's getting a little windy and a little chilly. Chilly temps mean fast trucks. Well, while Michael was driving a familiar number, the 15 last week, he was not driving for a familiar team. Vision Aviation Racing teamed up with Billy Ballou in the offseason, and at least for now, they're the only ones in the win column.
You know, every day of my life I live with the fact that I won the Daytona 500 driving for Dale Earnhardt, my friend, the day that Dale Earnhardt died.
You got it! You got it! You got it!
Michael Waltrip win.
All right.
Driver who won that fateful race 10 years ago today is in a truck at Daytona for the first time.
Mikey, what would this win here tonight mean 10 years after you won your first Daytona 500 and the day that we'll all remember?
Well, it's important, Bill. I get a little bit emotional thinking about it, but it'd be very, very special to wind up in victory lane on February the 18th.
Anytime anyone said anything, it just touched a place in my heart, and it made it hard for me to keep from showing my emotion.
He was very emotional and very determined. One thing I noticed when he got in the truck, and just from the get-go, you could just tell there was this confidence.
I just was focused, you know, very, very serious about doing what I needed to do in order to be in victory lane when that race ended.
How about Michael Waltrip in the 15? He had a push from the 32 of Brad Sweet. He's now battling side by side for second.
As the race went on, I was really confident about having a shot, but darn, I'm not bold enough to say I've got this baby.
They pulled away from the pack. Elliott Sadler, Michael Waltrip, 1 and 2.
Here he comes. He got him. Mikey! All right.
10 years to the day of his first Daytona 500
I can't believe I'm up here doing this race, and he's out there doing what he does, and here we are again.
What's up, brother?
Man, I want to be down there with you. I want to give you a big hug, but man, way to go. I love you, buddy. 10 years ago, I stood right in this very spot and worried about Dale Earnhardt. Was he all right or not? And of course, we know he wasn't. And Michael was celebrating in Victory Circle, and my heart always hurt so much for Michael, because when he found out what happened to Dale, it just devastated him.
It was really special to me that my brother was up there in the booth, because, you know, we had lived the 2001 Daytona 500 disaster, tragedy, aftermath of all that went on the track that day. We lived it together, and then this one, you know, we could smile.
This is essentially a brand new team. Vision Airlines bought this team, so this is their actual first attempt.
It was so fun to get to be a part of the VAR team. You know, Vision Aviation Racing, that was their first race.
I don't think we realize really what we've done at this point. It's still sinking in, and we were excited about it. It's a great win for us, great win for the organization. It's obviously a great way to start out the season and start out the team.
We were smiling because we were celebrating Dale's life, and we were smiling because we won the race, and it just made so many people feel so much better. I think it honored Dale like I hoped it would.
A little bit of healing, that's for sure. Waltrip and Almirola not in the VAR trucks tonight. Instead, it's newcomers Dusty Davis and Justin Johnson. So that means Michael is back in a different sort of familiar territory alongside Rick Allen and Phil Parsons upstairs in the booth. Well, actually, outside of the booth. I know we need to focus on tonight's race, but I'm sure Mikey's not done talking about last week yet, Rick.
No, I don't think so. And actually, I'm a little selfish. I like it when you're in the broadcast booth with us to call the races, but I have to admit that was pretty impressive, your win last week.
Well, I circled February 18th, 2011 on my calendar. I wanted to be a part of that race. Speed was kind enough to let me take the night off from the booth. Sent ODW up there to hang out with you guys. But just what a special night. Not only all the emotion from the win, but also on the truck was the Wounded Warriors Project. We had 7 Wounded Warriors there in our pit, and their smiles, they were so happy that was their first race, and their truck went to victory lane. It was a special night for 100 different reasons, and I'm just blessed that you guys were riding along with me.
Yeah, I tell you what, it was a great night for you, but a few guys had a little bit of, I guess, trouble when you leave Daytona. What are they going to do to get to Phoenix now?
Well, this is a whole different animal here. This is a different race altogether than we saw at Daytona. And you've got people like Travis Kvapil and Ron Hornaday that need to dig themselves out of a little bit of hole. We talked about it earlier. Everybody that leaves Daytona and say, well, their season really starts next week at Phoenix. That's because they didn't have very good luck at Daytona. So that's what some of those guys are saying right now. And they need to start their season right here on a positive note.
Well, obviously a positive start for you, Michael, and we're glad you're back up in the booth. Now let's head back down to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. I'm standing by with Clint Bowyer, who was lightning fast here last November. You've got the same truck. You got a new track record in qualifying. What kind of results do you expect?
Well, the same results, hopefully. They're yelling for me. Tide Chevrolet was good so far. Hats off to everybody at KHI. Thank you, guys. I got to go.
All right. We don't want him to miss driver introductions, and we do want to hear from Austin Dillon. He's with Hermie.
Hey, Brett.
Well, Austin Dillon catching up with you before intros. We was talking about Daytona last week. Sitting pretty with a chance to get the thing done, and Daytona strikes again, but a good run overall for you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Looking back from last year, if we can improve like we did it at Daytona throughout the year, we'll have a shot at that championship. It was, I thought, like you said, we were sitting pretty there. Me and Elliott, the two Chevys, I thought first and third we'd have a good shot at it, but just part of Daytona, and the truck was great here at Phoenix, so qualifying second should be a good starting position for the Bass Pro Shop Chevy.
And we talk about this racetrack. A lot of people think when the sun goes down, trucks get tight, but you were saying last year the truck reacted a little bit differently than you expect at a nighttime race.
Yeah, I got free here last year, so we made sure we built a little bit of adjustability into it, kept it tight in practice, thinking that it would get free tonight, so hopefully it plays in our plans.
Well, Austin Dillon, he rolls off second, and he will be a factor when this thing is all said and done.
I'm sure he will be. And hey, look at that. We've mentioned a lot of people in the field. Kyle Busch, another contender tonight as he runs from his Sprint Cup car following Sprint Cup practice up to the stage for driver intros. Take a look and keep your eye on Kyle Busch tonight as well. Did our drivers bring their track shoes? This race is one of the quickest of the year. No time to lay back in this one. More of the setup still to come. The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. Brought to you in part by Cici's Pizza, home of the endless pizza, pasta, salad, and dessert buffet. And in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at FunaiAmerica.com.
Ron Hornaday, buddy, you did it!
Ron Hornaday's got his 4th Truck Series championship.
The title belongs to Todd Bodine.
See Hornaday lock up the championship tonight and win the race. I don't know you can script it much better. Chases for a championship, and the Truck Series has had some of the best.
Baby, congrats! Boys are awesome! Great job!
We mentioned at the top of the show that we're normally at this track in November. No title will be decided tonight, but it could serve as the first steps towards a championship. There you see our last two champions, Ron Hornaday. There's Todd Bodine. Bodine celebrates a birthday on Sunday. Welcome back to the setup from Rattlesnake Hill. This has become a tradition, 4 years strong. While this racetrack provides an absolutely beautiful backdrop behind us, it has also been the backdrop for more than just those two champions. In fact, you can go all the way back to the very first year of the Truck Series, 1995. We're going to crack open the vault and wait till you see how those trucks look.
Welcome to Phoenix International Raceway. The date, October 28, 1995. The final race in the inaugural season of the Truck Series. Mike Skinner comes in with an 88-point lead over Joe Ruttman. After halftime to work on the trucks, Ernie Irvan is the race leader, but not for long.
Battle for the lead. Ernie Irvan surrenders it to Mike Skinner, not willingly, you can bet.
That truck he's just on the string. He's not fighting the wheel. He's running right where he wants to.
Skinner dominates the second half of the race, still with his eyes on the championship.
They have told Mike that if somebody starts pressuring for the lead, not to fight them too hard. Again, the big picture is what they're looking at.
And look, here comes Ernie Irvan.
Well, that's a great battle. That's a Ford versus Chevrolet, and a guy that wants to win a race and a guy that wants to win a championship.
Nonetheless, Irvin is closing. The big question is, will time run out?
Now, I think he's doing everything he can. Now it's just up to who wants to win the most.
The journeyman driver from California, took a long time for him to get his career on track. He rented some equipment from Richard Childress. Childress kept an eye on him, liked what he saw.
Mike Skinner goes into the record books as the first Truck Series champion.
Pretty amazing to look at the gunslinger back in 1995. How about those memory lane, huh?
Man, those trucks had lift in the front. We had no downforce in the front. We had some downforce in the back and actually had lift in the front, and they were really, really fun to drive, Ray.
Mike Skinner had made 175 starts with Toyota until Daytona. That streak came to an end. Tonight, he'll start shotgun on the field with a past champions provisional. Hermie?
Yeah, man, and David Mayhew, what a great day this has been for you guys so far. Top 5 qualifying spot. You got a little experience here last year, but looking to improve on that result last year. So far, so good today.
Yeah, no, the truck unloaded. All the guys at the shop at KHI did an awesome job for us. Unloaded way better than last year. First lap, you can just tell a difference. So, fell back at the end of practice, not doing a qualifying run, but it qualified good. So now we're looking forward to the race.
Yeah, these guys are another one of the teams that are taking advantage of an alliance with Kevin Harvick Incorporated. A good truck, a good driver. He'll try to get all the laps in tonight and get a good, solid finish.
Hermie, last week, by the time the setup was complete, you had heard from or about 2/3 of our field. Another one to keep your eye on tonight, Ricky Carmichael. He was extremely fast last week. Someone who's been fast here today, Matt Crafton. We love seeing all of these competitors. While they try to rise to the occasion, we're still rising above turns 3 and 4 up here on Rattlesnake Hill. I don't know how we're getting down, but we can't yet because the setup is not complete. We will wrap things up here on Rattlesnake Hill. Nature's Grandstand next.
In 2 weeks, it's time for the Camping World Truck Series to pay a visit to the Lady in Black. Last year, Todd Bodine proved it'd be Todd's night again, or will someone else figure out the egg-shaped oval? Tune in to find out. Chris Devoda hosts the setup starting at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, followed by flag-to-flag coverage, only on Speed.
Hey, and just announced today, another star coming to play with us in that race. Casey Kane will be driving Kyle Busch's truck at Darlington. Now back here in Phoenix, all 3 series racing this weekend. Sunday is the highlight. Start your day with race day. End it with a Sprint Cup race on Fox. Of course, on Sunday, this hillside, Rattlesnake Hill, will be filled with fans. We called it Nature's Grandstand. It is one of the best views in all of sports. We've actually taken care of all the rattlesnakes. We've found 2. I'm just kidding. We're getting things warmed up here tonight. Only a few feet stand between the drivers and victory lane, but they only have 150 laps to make something happen. Time to watch the most exciting racing in NASCAR. The Lucas Oil 150 on Speed starts right now.
Stay focused. Got to get that right.
Stay focused.
I got to hit my shifts. Make it through turn 1.
Focus. When they drop the rag, I got to stay on the inside.
Stay on the inside.
Got to attack. Got to get as many.
This is truck racing. Not enough time to ride.
Good pit stops. Good pit stops.
I have to communicate with my spotter. Turn 1, heavy on the brakes. You got to outbrake. We got to get down to the corner before then.
Watch my mirrors. Got to tell my crew chief what the truck's doing.
It's all about you. Don't worry about the others.
You've been here before. One more time.
Speed. Nice and clean. Stay at pit speed.
Save my tires. Save a little extra for them.
Have to watch out for the wreck.
Don't get loose. Got to save it to
I got to make clean shifts.
Have to be in front of everybody when I cross that line.
Got to get to that checker flag.
We got to make it happen. I want to grab the checker flag.
I got to make sure I get that checker
first. First to cross the finish line.
Season really starts in Phoenix.
16 years ago, in these very hills, a series was born. At the base of Rattlesnake Hill is the historic Phoenix International Raceway. This flat 1-mile speedway has seen the series' seasoned veterans make it to victory lane, but never a newcomer. That could all change tonight. The talent level is at an all-time high, and the veterans are outnumbered. Get ready for 150 laps of pure adrenaline. Welcome to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Lucas Oil 150, presented on Speed by CC's Pizza. 36 trucks,
36 drivers, 3 former champions in the field. And it has been a seasoned veteran that has been able to make it to victory lane. But could tonight be the first time when a newcomer or potentially a rookie go to victory lane? A very tough racetrack, a very tough mile to try to capture. Let's get things underway with our pre-race ceremonies. We go trackside for tonight's invocation.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Carl Hayden High School Junior ROTC present our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Phoenix International Raceway Chaplain Ken Bowers offers tonight's invocation.
Heavenly Father, thank you so very much for allowing us to join you here again at PIR. Thank you that no matter how many times we disappoint you, you always forgive and restore. Thank you for the friends we make here and for the experiences we have in the enjoyment of racing. And now we pray for a safe race tonight. And we praise you for all your blessings to us in a world that asks questions. We have the answer. These things we're grateful for in your name, and everyone said, Amen.
Please welcome 3-time National Finals rodeo bullfighter and current recording artist Hollywood Yates, the Wolf, as he performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Race number 2 about to get underway from Phoenix International Raceway. That means it's time for the drivers to climb into their trucks, and we will fire the engines on the other side of the commercial break. Stay with us. Great racing always when you come to PIR. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is presented on speed by Cici's Pizza, the home of the endless pizza, pasta, salad, and dessert buffet. Brought to you in part by Camping World and the Good Sam RV Club. Everything you need for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, insurance, roadside assistance, and more. And by the 2011 Ford Fiesta. It's a pretty big deal. What an absolutely beautiful sunset here in Phoenix. Hey, check out where Krista.
Hi.
We'd like to come back to you.
Yeah, this is, and as the sun sets, this shot even gets more beautiful. You know, last week I called these guys desperados. What happens when they have even less time to deliver? Back here atop Rattlesnake Hill. Well, reasons to watch. Why are you watching this race tonight? We have some pretty good ones. This race is one of our quickest of the year. It is going to fly by, meaning those desperados are going to take even more chances early and often. You cannot step away even for a second. KHI drivers, they have owned this track the last few years. Clint Boyer won the race last year. The KHI drivers will have bullseyes on their backs, and that includes Ron Hornaday. He and the rest of the big name regulars will be trying to erase Daytona bad luck. Only one of last year's top 5 in points started off the year with a top 15. They certainly dug themselves a hole. They'll try to shovel their way out here in the desert. But the only question I have for Rick, Phil, and Michael, Why are you guys still outside? The race is about to start. Get in.
It's way too nice to be inside right now. Michael, let's talk a little bit about transition. We go from Daytona to Phoenix. How big of a transition is that?
It's the opposite. At Daytona, 190 with your foot flat on the floorboard. Here, you're going to use all your feet, lifting and only going to be running 130. So obviously,
all of them?
All of them.
And pit strategy is going to come into play. 150-lap race, as Krista said, very short, but they're going to probably make 2 pit stops. How early do you want to get that last set of tires on so you have track position like Greg Pursley had last night to win the K&N race?
We'll see if they use all of their fingers to start this engine. We go down to fire the engines.
Race fans, please welcome back sales manager of Merle's Automotive, John Fisher, as he delivers the most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
The engines are fired. The only question left to be answered is who will make it to victory lane tonight? We know we've got Clint Bowyer out front, leading him to the green flag next. Welcome back. A gorgeous evening here in the Phoenix, Arizona area. We're in Avondale, Arizona at the Phoenix International Raceway for the second race of the 2010 or 2011 season. 66 degrees and partly cloudy. Perfect conditions for racing tonight. Starting grid's going to roll across the top of your screen. Again, out in front of the field, Clint Bowyer and Austin Dillon will bring the field to the green flag tonight. Both of those drivers in qualifying breaking the old track record. Take a look at our Hamburger Helper track description, and this will be the last time we'll be able to describe it this way, Michael.
Well, and you talked about perfect conditions. This is the perfect track. These guys are going to have so much fun here tonight because this track offers up so many options. Down in turn 1 and 2, you might be down all the way on the apron. You can also run high. There's a kink in the back straightaway. It has it all, so it's a lot of fun to race on.
Take a look at our CC's Pizza race analysis, Phil.
150 laps, 150 miles. These guys more than likely will make 2 pit stops. You see the pit windows around 75 or 80. If it landed perfect, they could make it on 1, but I think they want to make those adjustments. Clint Bowyer won this race last year with 2 pit stop strategy. You see the purse just under $500,000.
Field making their way around the racetrack. We like to get to know each driver just a little bit better. Tonight we're shining a spotlight on 4 drivers. Ray, start with it.
Rick, I'd like to take a look at David Mayhew. He's driving the MMI number 19 tonight. This is his 4th start in the Camping World Truck Series, and although David's primarily a West Coast driver, they believe they've got a great shot tonight. This team has run 3 races, finished 16th or better in each of those, and tonight they qualified 5th. I'm going to keep my eye on number 19. Hermie, who you watching?
Well, Ray, I'm going to watch Justin Johnson in that number 51 Vision Airlines racing truck. We talked to him in the pre-race show. This is his first ever Camping World Truck Series start. Now, he has a lot of confidence. I can see it in his eyes. He has qualified 14th, and he says they can run there and better. He's not looking to ride around, he says. He's looking to try to get a top 10. Michael?
Another kid on that same mission, Hermie, is Dusty Davis. He's 18 years old from Las Vegas, Nevada, driving that number 15 truck. I won the race last week in that truck. This team, Vision Airlines Racing, has everything they need in order to compete for wins. He finished 4th and 5th last year in the K&N Series here at Phoenix, and this is his first start, and he's set on go, Phil.
Mikey, I want to take a look at another West Coast driver. It's Greg Pursley, 43 years old from Newhall, California. He was a 2004 NASCAR Whelen Weekly Series national champion. How about yesterday in the K&N Pro Series West Division race? He wins for the 2nd time in a row here at Phoenix. He won last November. He finished in the top 5 in points the last 2 years in the West Series. He's making his 4th truck start. He finished 8th in his first ever truck race at Iowa, and he plans to run at least 4 races this year. Sponsorship, he could add more.
Whenever we're under the lights, always beautiful pictures here at Phoenix International Raceway. We'll ride along with the 10 of Chase Mattioli with our Ford camera on board.
We're also going to ride along on the Toyota on board, the K&N Toyota of Miguel Paluda. What a great top 5 run last week at Daytona. This guy has a lot of promise, and he's starting in the 28th spot.
Look at the Funai onboard camera, Phil. I'm going to take your top 5 guy and up you one. This is a points leader. We're going to ride along with Clay Rogers. He's leading the points, had a solid qualifying effort. This is a fun story this year.
I'm going to one-up you, and I'm going to go to the front row. Austin Dillon also carrying one of our cameras. He will start more than likely on the outside of our pole sitter.
And he's got that velour steering wheel, too.
All right, it's time for our Walmart recipe for success. Ray Dunlap, what's one of the ingredients?
Well, Rick, if I was going to try to pick a winner tonight, I would take Kevin Harvick. The only problem is he's not driving, but his trucks are going to be very good. In the last 3 races here, KHI trucks have gone to victory lane. Watch that 2 truck tonight. Clint Boyer dominated here last November. Hermie?
Well, Ray, whoever wins will have to have a solid effort from their pit crew. You heard Phil Parsons talking about a maximum of 2 stops tonight for the winner. What does that mean? Your crew cannot make a mistake tonight and win this race. Let's watch the pit crews on pit road, Rick.
Who's going to have the right recipe tonight for victory? We're about to find out. Green flag in the air. We're underway.
Great start by Clint Boyer, and that opened up the door for Kyle Busch to drive down on the inside of Austin Dillon as well. Those trucks come off turn 2, 1-2.
Ron Hornaday jumped right immediately down to the inside to get that inside line there. He's going to ease up there in 4th spot.
How about David Mayhew in the 19, running amongst a group of veteran truck racers?
Yeah, he's a good race car driver. Runs really, really well out here on the West Coast.
Battle for 5th. Mayhew on the outside. Matt Crafton in the yellow 88 on the inside.
Look at Johnny Sauter use that apron of that racetrack to turn that truck.
Got a couple of Thor Sports trucks all over him, and David Mayhew made the good, strong run off turn 2 and grabbed that spot for Matt Crafton. Now he's going to get right down to the bottom of the track, Bill. That tells you he knows how to run this place. He knew as soon as he got clear of Matt, the best way he could make time through the 3rd and 4th turn was low.
Looks like Kyle Busch is closed in a little bit on Clint Boyer. This is a Kyle Busch KHI battle here. The last 4 years they finished 1st or 2nd. Ooh, somebody bounced off the wall. Was that Hornaday?
Looks like the side of his truck is clean.
Yeah, looks clean for Hornaday.
I think he scrubbed the wall coming off the corner there. Coming off turn 2.
Still close battle up front. Clint Boyer holding off Kyle Busch as they complete the 2nd lap and on to lap 3.
Minimal damage if that was Ron Hornaday that scraped the wall. You see the Goodyear Eagle letter still, Wranglers actually on these trucks still on there.
Ron Hornaday holding on to the 4th spot. It's Boyer, Busch, Dillon, Hornaday, and Mayhew, your top 5. Take a closer look at the right side of that truck. Looks intact. Hornaday still digging, holding on to that 4th spot. We take another look at what you saw just moments ago, Phil.
Watch us coming off turn number 2 here. I
don't think anybody hit the wall.
They were close. Certainly not that lap.
Not that time by. Still out front, Clint Boyer has a 0.3 of a second lead over Kyle Busch. Austin Dillon back in 3rd, Hornaday 4th, Mayhew is 5th. Matt Crafton was driver coach for Travis Pastrana.
That was cool to listen to. Matt's got a lot of laps here at the Phoenix International Raceway, and he really helped Travis Pastrana understand what it takes to be fast here. And everything that Matt was telling Travis, when I watched practice today with Matt, he was doing all those things. So not only was he talking, he was walking the walk as well.
7 top 10s here and 10 starts. So Matt Crafton does know his way around here. There's a good battle. Brendan Gaughan, the 62 South Point Toyota on the outside, the Zachary Toyota of David Starr on the inside.
A couple of veterans there, right, Phil?
Absolutely. Then there's a rookie right behind him making his first ever start.
As rookie as you can be right there in a truck. And Jason White's coming up on the tailgate of that 51 VAR truck.
David Starr's been to victory lane before here at Phoenix. Brendan Gaughan has not. You see that 51 of Justin Johnson closing in on the back bumper of Brendan Gaughan.
We talk about the K&N Pro Series running here. Brendan's a 2-time champion of the K&N Pro Series West Division.
And that's how Dusty Davis and Justin Johnson got their start, got up and running. They'd had such a successful year last year racing in the K&N West. Their team owners, Bill and Steve Acor, they said, we just need to move this up to the trucks. Vision Airlines is a new company. They want to get more attention to their brand, and so here they are. The trucks is a great story this year.
Story that we're following, that 33 of Ron Hornaday. What are they talking about on the radio down there, Ray?
Well, Rick, when he came on the radio the first time, he said, guys, check my right front splitter. It feels like it dug into the racetrack. He said, with real low air pressure, it was certainly dragging. I hope I didn't fold it under. And he said that's what shot him way up to high side on the racetrack.
Let's take a look back at that. Now, this is that lap I was talking about. It looked to me like Ron Hornaday bounced off the wall. Watch him. That's the blue and white truck. He's going to ease out here against the wall, and he does catch that wall just a little bit. Look, maybe with the right rear corner.
He was then headed in a bad direction early. You could tell that truck just wasn't turning, but he left his foot on the floor and got a little contact with the outside wall.
Using every inch of the racetrack is Ron Hornaday, making his way around this 1 mile speedway, Phoenix International Raceway. Out in front, it's Clint Bowyer. Kyle Busch chasing in second. Sunday, the Ultimate Pre-Race Show gets you revved up in Phoenix. Mark Martin, Kyle Busch, and Kevin Harvick join us live. Plus, Kyle Petty sits down with Lynn and Eddie Wood after that thrilling Daytona 500 win. NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot from Phoenix. Sunday, that's 12:30 Eastern, live on Speed. Under the lights from Phoenix International Raceway, the Camping World Truck Series underway in the Lucas Oil 150.
What a gorgeous shot from up there. Wow.
150 laps scheduled for this one, and we have completed 17 on lap 18. Clint Bowyer has been out in front all 17 laps. As a matter of fact, last time he was here, he led 97 laps of that 150 lap race.
He likes it up front.
He said, he kept telling us all day long, same truck, same racetrack, same everything, and naturally it's good.
He wants the same outcome. Now he gets into slower lap traffic. He's trying to work his way through that, as well as Kyle Busch back there in that Dollar General number 18.
Well, that 2 truck, Rick, you see him go all the way down on the apron. That's when you know your truck's good. When you can go places where nobody else is, that means you got a lot of options, and Clint's using every one of them right now to get through this lap traffic and keep that distance between he and the second place truck of Kyle Busch.
When they reached the lap traffic, it was pretty much nose to tail between Clint Bowyer and Kyle Busch. Now, Clint Bowyer's been able to negotiate through the lap traffic quicker, so now there's a little over a second separating Bowyer and Busch.
Yeah, here's the advantage of getting to them first, and they see the move over flag that the flagman will put out. And so a lot of times, you know, they're able to pick and choose their way through the traffic a little bit better, and they're going to move over quicker for the leader.
Austin Dillon in that 3 running third.
Some of those people look at the flagman, really?
We actually have a flag woman, and it's Kim Lopez's birthday tonight.
Oh.
So happy birthday to Kim, taking care of the flagging duties on the flag stand. You see Ron Hornaday running in the 4th spot.
About wiped that truck out early on, calmed down now, and it's got a good steady pace. Probably looking for an adjustment. Might have been it was a little bit tight on those new tires because he just seemed to slide up the track a little bit. Maybe as the tires get some laps on him, it's coming to him.
You know, when he talked like the splitter may be digging in, so that thing actually could have landed on the splitter, and then obviously you can't use the tires if it's sitting on the splitter.
David Mayhew currently running in the 5th spot. Again, he's doing double duty this weekend. He had his first race last night in the K&N Pro Series race. Hermie.
You got to give this guy a shout out, David Mayhew. We talked to him in the pre-race show. Still up in the top 5, a solid job. Now his truck is a little bit tricky for him. It's free in turns 1 and 2. But when he gets down to turns 3 and 4, it will not turn. And they're trying to talk to him about going down below the white line, down the apron, to get his truck to turn in 3 and 4 to balance it out.
Sounds like he's been talking to Matt Crafton. That's what he was telling Pastrana to do all night last night. And Matt knows to use every inch of this track.
Some sort of a problem for the 77 of Justin Lofton there at the straightaway. Saw Mayhew have to drive around him.
He's got the right front tire looks like maybe it's scuffed. I don't know if he got into another truck or into the wall, but I don't see any lettering on the side of his right front tire. So maybe that is what's wrong with Lofton.
Early on in this race, we got 24 trucks still on the lead lap, but that number is dwindling as blistering a pace as Clint Bowyer is setting.
How about Johnny Sauter, always competitive in this Thor Sport truck right here, this Chevrolet. There's Travis Kvapil getting lapped already. That's really surprising this early on in the race. 24 laps in to see Travis Kvapil get lapped.
Kvapil, we saw in qualifying earlier today, went around in his qualifying effort. Running in the 8th spot is the 30 of Todd Bodine, our defending series champion, Ray Dunlap.
Rick, Todd Bodine will celebrate his 46th birthday this coming Sunday, and he said he really believes that they got this truck so much better in practice that they can be a contender late in this race today. They did a lot of testing down at Disney World over the off-season, and they brought a truck that they normally would run at Texas or on a big mile and a half to this racetrack. I asked his crew chief, Mike Hillman, why would you do that? He said because the very next race is the most important one. Looking right behind them, if you'll go back in the field just a little bit, you'll see the 17 of Timothy Peters. I talked with him in practice earlier today, and Timothy said this is the very best race truck that he's ever had here at Phoenix. He said he's always struggled coming off a 4 at this track, and he was able to roll it in there real nicely earlier today. Dropping back from the 17, you'll see that Cole Witt is currently running in 10th place in that Red Bull truck. Cole Witt did not qualify for the race down in Daytona. He jumped into the number 93 to make a start there. When they got here today, he said, I absolutely love this kind of a racetrack. The flatter, the better. I like them a lot whenever I can really drive them hard.
I was taking a look at your top 10. Battle for third starting to build between Austin Dillon and Ron Hornaday.
They've not been able to shake David Mayhew in the 19 truck, as well as Matt Craft on the 88 right behind Mayhew.
That battle's tightening up every lap. It looks like Mayhew and Crafton are chasing down this duo. Maybe Dillon is holding up Hornaday a little bit and allowing those other two guys to catch up at the same time.
Hornaday looking at the bottom of the racetrack. Had a pretty good run.
I think you either need to commit to the very, very bottom here, Phil, or slide up maybe and try the top a little bit, because it seems like that middle groove right in the middle of the turn, you can't get it done there.
Since the drop of the green flag, it's been all that KHI number 2 of Clint Bowyer. Kyle Busch has been giving chase, but hasn't been able to catch him. Will this be the year that Kyle Busch can outdo the KHI trucks? You got to stay with us to find out. Monday night, Steve Burns and Danielle Trotta deliver the ultimate Phoenix recap and get you fired up for Las Vegas. Don't miss NASCAR Race Up Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. Gorgeous views from Phoenix International Raceway, and probably the best view has been Clint Bowyer's looking out of the windshield, where he hasn't had anyone to contest him for that lead. He's been out front all 36 laps.
Just a few lap trucks is all he's seeing out his window.
Yeah, and he's stretching it out too, Rick.
While we're in break, take a look at what Todd Bodine had to do.
He got all up in the middle of a bind here. You could see he wanted to go 3 wide right there, and that door shut. And so Todd real quickly got on the brakes and avoided potential disaster there. So that was a smart move.
And here, look at Hornaday. Looks to the outside to make a move on Austin Dillon.
Hornaday trying to take third away from Austin Dillon, and it looks as though he'll be successful in that pass.
That's kind of like what I was hoping to see somebody start trying to do. Go up to the extreme top side and see if you can make some moves up there.
Battle for 14th. Jason White on the inside. Clay Rogers, our point leader, on the outside.
Whoa, Clay drove way down in that turn right there. Jason's going to power it up in the middle of the corner. He'll come back off the gas about right there, Phil, and then get it back down again. That's one of the options that's offered to the drivers here at Phoenix.
And there are so few tracks that we run that are like that.
I don't know anywhere else you could do that.
Maybe Dover,
maybe
in
so.
the race.
You fly in there, you let off the gas, you get on the brakes, then you get back on the gas and off. So these guys are busy.
Now we got Brendan Gaughan trying to get by that 92 of Clay Rogers.
There's Parker Kligerman lined up right behind Brendan. Clay's going to start to think that things are getting a little bit hectic around his area.
So that's not any way to treat a point leader, is it?
Yeah, and they were saying, Clay, who I would have told them I'm Mr. Rogers to y'all now.
Well, making a name for yourself in this series has really been kind of the theme. And one of the guys a year ago who was a newcomer coming onto the scene was Austin Dillon, and he has really made a name for himself in this series and now has the respect of so many drivers. Is there another driver out there that you see, Phil, that maybe is doing that same thing?
I think I like this kid right here, the one that just passed Clay Rogers, Parker Kligerman. We saw him have so much success in the ARCA Racing Series a couple years ago, winning 9 times, losing that championship championship by only 5 points. Caution on the racetrack.
Caution on the racetrack. It looks as though the 10 has a tire going down. It's Chase Mattioli. The right front is gone.
That's the second one of those today. He cut a tire in practice earlier today.
Give me 2 rounds up on the track.
This time it looks like a little bit of contact into the outside wall. The first time he got away with it, blew a tire and didn't hit. That's pretty lucky. This time minimal damage, though, to that truck.
It makes you wonder, though, if there's a common theme here. For some reason, that truck cutting down 2 right front tires.
Generally, that means some camber issue, whether it's dynamic or static. The tire's getting abused more than it can stand on that truck.
We run over halfway to a fuel stop. I think we all come in now, and let's go ahead and put that first set of tires on.
No doubt. This will get us out to past lap 100 thereabout when you could make your next pit stop and be done.
Take another look at what just happened there. You see the 10 coming into your screen.
His tire's flat already.
He keeps it up high. He's already made contact with the outside safer barrier.
Might have happened off the turn 2.
Corner outside, inside.
Just barely scraped the wall.
As you mentioned, pretty minimal damage for cutting down a right front tire.
They're going to work on the sheet metal, try to pull that away from the right front. You see a little damage on the back of the truck. They're not working on that as diligently.
Coming toward pit road. Pit road is open. I think they all come, Phil.
They have to come. They have to come. We're over halfway into a run here.
And sure enough, the hard left turn for the top 2 trucks. That's Clint Boyer out front. Kyle Busch, they're headed your way onto pit road, Hermie.
Yeah, Rick, Matt Crafton making his way down to the pits in the 88 truck. He's asking for his truck to be freed up just a little bit, to be 4 tires and fuel. His teammate Johnny Sauter does not like his truck in traffic. It's too tight. He's asking for a track bar adjustment. Ray?
Clint Boyer said no adjustments on this thing. Give me 4 tires and fuel. He comes in with Kyle Busch right on his bumper. Kyle Busch has pit stall number 1. Kyle's truck was very, very free. He said he felt like he was falling off on times a little bit. The 2 truck spins his wheels a little bit, leaving. It'll be a battle off of pit road. He is going to the line. Kyle Busch will be there first.
Not so quick, Gray. They go to that cone out there, don't they? Or
that's the speed line. The yellow line is the speed line. The race off of pit road was that first steady yellow line that we saw.
Watch this now coming into pit road here. Watch Austin Dillon charge up to the back of Ron Hornaday. Has to lock the brakes up and veer to the left to avoid Ron Hornaday. And then Matt Crafton locked the brakes up to avoid them. Watch this now.
Let me tell you why this happens.
At the line.
This is how competitive these guys are. You get every inch everywhere you can get it, and they were diving to pit road.
Every 1/10 of a second you can gain. Stay with us. More of the Lucas Oil 150. Wednesday on an all-new Car Warriors, the All-Stars take on a team of lowrider specialists. But lack of sleep brings the All-Stars to the brink of disaster. This is one episode you don't want to miss. Car Warriors Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed.
Will you look at that picture?
It's gorgeous view here in the Phoenix, Arizona area.
If you haven't been to this track, you got to come. This is one of the most special stops on the whole circuit.
32 of Brad Sweet is our Aaron's lucky dog.
Aaron's is just going to start giving away more laps, giving them back.
They liked it at Daytona so much they came to Phoenix and started giving laps back. And Brad Sweet takes advantage of that. And Phil, you were talking, we're talking about guys that might be able to step up and make a challenge to the winner circle like we saw Austin Dillon do. Yes, last year he became a competitor, then a winner. And this is a cat too. Brad Sweet's got a shot at this.
We found out about a few of the pit stops that took place on pit road. Let's go back down there for a few more updates. Ray?
Down on my end, Rick, I wanted to let you know about Jason White in that Gunbroker truck. He came in 14th on the racetrack, but they had to pit twice because they could not get the fueler to engage. There's some sort of a problem with their can. They've taken it to work on it, but Jason White lost a lot of spots in the pits. Hermie?
Yeah, Ray, another driver that lost a lot of spots on pit road. David Mayhew came down 6th. He was running 6th place, had a terrible pit stop, went back out to the racetrack 19th. Gave up a lot of valuable track position. They've thrown together a crew of some guys of a lot of different race teams, but first step under pressure, and they did not get it done, Ray.
And I also want to update Austin Dillon for you guys. The Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet is running very hot. He said he's been up over 250, and he doesn't know why. The team told him to try to get the nose ducked out a little bit, make sure he doesn't stay tucked up under anyone, but we'll keep an eye on the water temperature for the number 3 truck.
You know, Phil, you talked about your guy thinking that's going to step up and be a part of the maybe winning the race, Parker Kligerman. I like this cat, Cole Witt. Remember him last fall here in his nationwide debut? Really fast, top 15 finish. He goes to Daytona, borrows a truck, and finishes in the top 10, or excuse me, in the top 15. Qualified inside the top 10 and has been running inside the top 10 here at Phoenix. So this is my guy that I think steps up and becomes a winner this year.
I think another guy who makes the transition from newcomer to seasoned veteran has got to be Ricky Carmichael. Last year, he talked about all the questions that he had to figure out about each track that he went to. Well, he got most of those questions answered. Now he can focus on racing and trying to win these races, and I think he's going to be the next one that could make his way into victory lane.
We'll have to follow the progress of those 3 guys that we think can become consistent winners here in the Truck Series.
Coming out of turn number 4, Kyle Busch and the 2 of Clint Bowyer. Green flag back in the air.
Clint struggled a little bit there on the initial start, but you know where you can really make that up, Rick? He got down to turn 1, he drove in really deep and got all the way up beside Hornaday, so wasn't a good start initially, but he got it rolling in a hurry.
He was able to get by Ron Hornaday and take that 2nd spot back. How about the smoker 0-7 of B.J. McLeod?
I think he just locked the brakes up.
Side by side, there's Cole Witt working to the outside of Timothy Peters. Peters in the 17, Cole Witt in the 60. Matt Crafton just in front of Cole Witt, then Timothy Peters back there in the 17. All chasing the 30 of Todd Bodine. And then he is right behind that 3 of Austin Dillon. Out front of the field, it's Kyle Busch, Clint Bowyer, Ron Hornaday, and Justin Johnson currently running in that 4th position.
Justin Johnson was 12th when the caution flag came out. Great pit work, got him up in the top 5, and then since then he's gained another spot up to 4th.
Remember, some of those MWR guys were pitting this 51 truck last year, and they always gained ground on pit road. I guess that was the case again this year.
Pretty impressive run already for this young driver.
First start. Well, first ever start.
And because of age, this is his first start. I mean, he hadn't been approved to race at Daytona yet. So that's why he wasn't able to race at Daytona.
Right. He and Dusty Davis both weren't approved for Daytona, right. So they came here to get that approval so they can run bigger tracks going forward. And running 4th right now, I bet you they went ahead and checked his approval box off.
So he's going to be okay.
Brett Bodine's going, I think we're okay with
this. Look at this, 3 wide now.
Ricky Carmichael on the outside, Max Pappas on the inside.
Popple's got his side of his truck tore all to pieces there. That must have just happened. That's the first smoke I've noticed from his truck. He got into somebody there.
Left front of that number 5 damaged.
Nelson Piquet Jr. was a little slow there off the 2nd turn too. I don't know what all transpired there, but I think they were arguing over space.
Clay Rogers, the 92 truck inside of the 8 of Piquet.
Justin
Marks, the 66. He had engine trouble earlier today. Cost him some practice time.
Real competitive tonight, though.
Battle for 9th. Timothy Peters in the 17. Cole Witt in the 60. Here comes David Starr in that 81. A 3-truck battle.
There's another guy, Phil, that we watched come onto the scene, Timothy Peters, and just inch his way closer and closer to victory lane, and finally got that win, a big one too.
You know, he had the first opportunity with Bobby Hamilton racing, and it didn't really materialize like he wanted. But all of a sudden, boy, when he got with Red Horse Racing, something clicked there.
It was huge. That win at Martinsville, so close to his hometown. It was such an emotional win for him, and then to cap that off with a Daytona win was huge for Timothy Peters. We see a big pack here running together. The 19 of David Mayhew on the outside. Looks slow, though. Looks like a problem for that 19.
Something's wrong with that truck. About halfway down the straightaway, it looked like it quit running. That generally tells you it's lost its cylinder, or maybe even possibly the battery is going dead and just won't fire like it's supposed to. Well, now he seemed to be going again.
There's about 6 trucks here if you want to let them go. Inside, 3 wide here on the top. 3 wide here on the top.
Looks like he's got a flat tire potentially.
Dig.
Dig.
Here, you coming in?
Is that left rear down maybe, Mikey?
No, I don't think the left rear is.
Got a flat right rear?
Right rear. I saw the right.
Rear looks close.
Yeah.
What a hand.
Right side.
What a handful that truck has to be. Doesn't look down.
Yeah, it did too.
Remember that right side tire has a lot more air in it to start with than the left side tire.
Yeah, it's flat.
Yeah.
Oh, there it went.
Problems for Travis Kvapil. We saw the left side damage on that number 5, and now the caution has come out.
Hit the wall there, Roman. Nope. Just got to clearance everything. Put some tires on there.
You know, we talked earlier, there was a mess there. Those guys were arguing over space. Let's look back and see if we can see exactly how the side of this truck got tore off. He's clean right there with Ricky Carmichael on the inside.
Ricky got a little bit loose, had to chase the truck up the hill. They make some pretty significant contact.
Yeah.
Travis did a nice job saving that truck right then. And that started this 3 wide situation when Max jumps to the inside. And there's some more contact.
Yeah, right up the racetrack in front of that 5 once again.
So all the letters peeled off that 5 truck of Travis Kvapil, and eventually that left rear went down.
We were trying to get it up high enough to get the jack underneath that left side. And ultimately, tire goes away, and around goes Travis Kvapil. That's the second spin we've seen him do today.
Off turn 2.
So they go to work on the number 5. A little damage on the 4 as well. Stay with us. Speed Inside Deals is your one-stop shop for exclusive ticket offers for Speed viewers. Camping World Truck Series fans can take advantage of the Too Tough to Tame 200 Inside deal from Darlington Raceway. For the best Truck Series ticket package around, visit speed.com/deals today. Aaron's lucky dog goes to the 19.
He had a flat tire. Caution flies. Looked like things were going in a bad direction for David Mayhew, but instead he gets a couple tires. Hermie, a free pass. He's back in luck.
Yeah, these guys came in, had a flat tire, came in to put 2 tires on, and are really playing a good cheerleading job with their driver. They had a lot of high hopes after a great qualifying run. And as you said, it looked like things were going to go sour about catching a caution while he was on pit road. He gets the lucky dog, gets back around, and they're still telling him he can get back up front and get a top 10.
Well, I believe him, Hermie. That truck's fast, and David's doing a great job, obviously.
Yeah, he hung in around the top 5 or 6 that entire time.
Clay Rogers riding along with him.
Clay still on the lead lap right now, being shown in the 16th spot. There's Chase Mattioli. We saw him cut down that tire and bring out a caution flag.
Miguel Paludo riding along with him this evening. He's currently in the 25th position, 1 lap down.
Austin Dillon giving us a good view out of his Chevrolet, riding along in the 6th spot, started 3rd.
You know, we talked about Justin Johnson parlaying that pit stop from going from 12th up into the top 5. Took 2 tires. Doug George made the call 2 tires, and so far it looks like it worked.
And everybody on pit road took notice of that as well. He got 2 tires after running almost half a fuel run. He got those 2 tires and has been able to maintain. So that could be some strategy, some pit strategy that will come into play later from some of these teams.
On their next pit stop.
That's right.
We've seen this story before. Kyle Busch, Clint Boyer battling for the lead at Phoenix International Raceway in a truck.
Well, the last restart, Kyle blew Clint away, so maybe Clint's going to see if he can do a little bit better start here.
Working their way out of turn 4. Green flag goes back in the air. Kyle Busch, Clint Boyer, 1 and 2. Here comes Hornaday. Will he make it 3 wide for the lead?
He's going to get to the inside. Kyle Busch gave him the inside.
Hornaday trying to steal second away from Clint Boyer. And then Clint Boyer flexing his muscles as he goes through the dog leg on the back stretch and into turn 3.
Hornaday backed off early and gave him the spot.
Yeah, and you know, Kyle did the same thing. It's what young drivers need to learn. You go into the corner, there's no need to pinch a guy off like that. The groove is everywhere on this track. He knew he could just roll up to the middle of the track and make a strong run off the turn, keep the lead, and not compromise himself, not get himself in a position to be run over. Hornaday was strong charging into that corner. He gave him room.
Justin Johnson on the bottom of the racetrack trying to stay to the inside of, it was Matt Crafton, now the 30 of Todd Bodine.
Yeah, good battle so far. That was a good battle. Now Todd's going to jump over to the inside of that 51 truck, and then the 51 said, I'm going to go to the inside. I'm going to diamond this racetrack.
Just Justin lost a couple of spots on this restart, but like Phil said, that two-tire call is really paying off for that team. They gained some track position, and obviously their truck's fast enough to hang on to it.
How about the 81 truck right there going out of your screen? David Starr up into the top 10 here, former winner.
Running in the 8th spot is David Starr. Austin Dillon and Timothy Peters were battling for that 9th position.
And right behind them is my guy Cole Witt, followed by Joey Coulter. Joey's another one of those young cats that might step up and be able to win a race this year. He's certainly got the equipment to do it, and he's showing good speed here at Phoenix.
A lot of success over the last couple of years in the ARCA Racing Series. Won a race last year, I believe, at Berlin.
Not the one in Germany, right?
Correct.
Still door to door. Todd Bodine and Justin Johnson. Here comes David Starr. Looks like the faster truck. Let's see if he can figure out a way to get by these two.
So Justin Johnson, ooh, a little contact there.
I was going to say, if Justin's watched many of these races on speed, he won't mess with Todd much. Todd gets a little bit bossy on the track, and I think that move right there was Todd just saying, why are you holding me up? And roughing him up a little bit on the straightaway. We'll see what Justin takes from that. Looks like so far he's saying, I got my right to be here too.
He's staying way wide as he makes his way through the turns. But he's also holding his ground.
Yeah, he's not in Todd's way right now. He's giving Todd plenty of room at the bottom of the racetrack.
I don't know if Todd agrees with you, Phil.
Well, he probably doesn't. And if I was driving Todd's truck, I wouldn't either.
Justin Johnson not allowing Todd to come out and use the full racetrack coming out of the turns. Ray Dunlap.
Rick, the truck that Todd Bodine is using tonight has won 3 races, but what I find maybe even more amazing than that, they've run this particular truck 13 times, and it's never finished outside the top 5. That's an incredible number.
And I thought a statistic similar to that was his statistics at Daytona last week, where he had never finished out of the top 5. Very impressive for Todd Bodine, but obviously not the finish he was looking for a week ago, but trying to bounce back from that and have a good finish tonight at Phoenix International Raceway.
He's having a world of trouble trying to get by Justin Johnson, not able to do it yet. In the meantime, Matt Crafton, who's running 5th, is driven away from this group.
But you got to give it up for Justin Johnson right here, giving Todd plenty of room down on the bottom of the racetrack, so that he doesn't put himself in a bad position. You know, if he pinches Todd down, Todd gets sideways, it's going to wreck them both, and he just gave him plenty of room. Now he's going to have to withstand the charge from David Starr.
I don't think it's going to take very long. David Starr looks like the fastest of these 3 trucks. He was waiting on those 2, and now that he has a clear racetrack, he'll probably go up there and try to pick off the 30 of Todd Bodine as well.
Here's Austin Dillon, now the Bass Pro Show with a little bit of contact right there.
Peters also coming into this mix, and the 17 goes to the outside of Austin Dillon.
That lost of momentum that Austin Dillon had allowed Timothy Peters to jump around the outside.
Ray, what's going on with the 3 team?
Yeah, Rick, I saw an incredible amount of disappointment in Austin Dillon's face after they got done qualifying. Of course, he started 2nd tonight, but he has been on the radio saying this truck is absolutely plowing. I can't turn it through the corners. You're going to have to do anything you've got in your arsenal to try to loosen me up. This thing is terrible tight.
So Austin Dillon not pleased with his race truck, but one guy who's got to be happy is Kyle Busch. We've had 2 leaders of this race, one of those being Clint Boyer, the other Kyle Busch, as Busch has got a 1.8 second lead over Clint Boyer. Hornaday, Sauter, and Crafton rounding out our top 5. The Toyota with 4 Chevys chasing him around Phoenix International Raceway. Welcome back to Lucas Oil 150, presented on speed by CC's Pizza. It's Phoenix International Raceway under the lights. We've passed the halfway point. It's Kyle Busch, Clint Boyer 1 and 2, Hornaday, Sauter, and Crafton your top 5.
You know, Krista talked about this being a quick race. It's gone quick. We're over halfway, as you mentioned.
Only 2 cautions.
I'm kind of thinking about that CC's Endless Buffet. You ever been there?
Yes, I have.
Well, back to the 3 of Austin Dillon.
Good 3-way battle here, Phil. We saw Timothy Peters squirt away from Austin Dillon. That was pretty cool, right?
You know, Ray was talking about, or Herman 1 was talking about the 3 truck. Austin Dillon complained about his truck really plowing. Well, when the 17 truck got by him, the next corner, he used the apron. Watch this now. You see the 17 Watch this. He's going to drive down the apron, and watch the distance he gains when he uses that apron that we've been talking about, Michael, the whole time.
It just shot out there.
Just like he was propelled out of a cannon. Watch this now. It's really interesting looking from here. Watch the 17's left sides go down below the yellow line. And as soon as he does, he's able to jump in the throttle. We heard Austin get in the throttle, but it wasn't nearly as soon as the 17 got in the throttle.
And what that tells me, Phil, that 17 truck is pushing. And so he was able to use that apron to take the push out of his truck. It unloads the left side of that truck, makes it just turn around that corner, and he can accelerate right off. We saw in qualifying someone try to use the apron when he had a bit of a loose truck, Travis Popple, and he spun right around. But if you've got the right condition in your truck, you can go down there and use the heck out of that apron.
We saw Timothy Peters do it again right then. That may be something that Austin may be able to move around, try to get his left sides down the apron. It's almost like you're hooking something when you grab it. It's like there's a definitive line there, and you put those left sides on the other side of it, and all of a sudden just gains grip and helps turn that truck.
Johanna Long in that 20, getting put a lap down by the 18 of Kyle Busch. That's 2 laps down for Johanna Long.
Won one of the biggest short track races in the country for late model racers when she took the Snowball Derby this past November. What an amazing accomplishment for that young lady.
See Clint Boyer making his way by that 45 of Mike Skinner.
You know, I think it's so surprising too that we have Kyle Busch and KHI. In this case, Clint Boyer racing 1 and 2. I think it's just amazing.
Has that ever happened here at Phoenix before?
Just the last 4 years.
It has. The last 4 years, it's been KHI versus Kyle Busch. Tonight, it's Boyer versus Busch on the racetrack. Speed's coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Rent-A-Center, where you never need credit and your satisfaction is guaranteed. And brought to you in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at FunaiAmerica.com. Welcome back to Phoenix International Raceway. Out in front, it's Kyle Busch. He's got a 1.2-second lead over Clint Boyer. One of those two have been out front this entire race as we've completed 90 laps. We're on lap 91. Hornaday, Sauter, Crafton rounding out our top 5. It's Bodine Starr, Justin Johnson, Timothy Peters, and Austin Dillon, your top 10. Jim Hornaday running in that 3rd spot.
You know, the last few laps, guys, both Hornaday and Boyer have been faster than Kyle Busch. I know they've been navigating through traffic, but they've been closing down on Kyle a little bit.
I want to take a look at our Just for Men mustache and beard. Keep the edge, and that has to be Ron Hornaday keeping his edge early in this race.
He went over the edge a little bit right here early on, maybe lap 4 or 5. Just clips the outside wall there, but never lost a position and still maintaining a top 3 spot.
Sure that Ron's pretty comfortable in that truck.
I think he's keeping his edge right now.
You know, you think about it too, you know, they're winding their way toward this final pit stop they're going to make here before a whole lot longer, and that's when the action will really pick up. These guys will start to try to take advantage of each other a little bit. Once they have another caution, get a restart in, they're going to get a little bit more serious about this deal. Although I don't think Kyle could get any more serious right now.
Pretty much any time he puts a helmet on, he gets pretty serious. He just put Brad Sweet a lap down. There's Clay Rogers, our point leader. He just went a lap down just a couple laps ago. Right now, Clay's being shown to the 19th spot. That great Clip Chevrolet in front of him, Brad Sweet, is 18th.
Ray, I just updated the top 10. Let's go a little deeper in the field. Can you give us how the 11's doing?
Yeah, we can. We'll go to 11th position, Rick, and that would be the number 60 of Cole Witt. He started 9th today, and after they had the first round of pit stops, he said his truck really just finally has no forward bite. They're hoping to make a track bar adjustment on the next pit stop to make it better. 22's next. That's with Hermie.
Yeah, Ray, Joey Coulter's had a solid run tonight. He is running in 12th right now. He qualified 10th. A little bit tight through the center of the corner. Still going to work on the next pit stop, looking at an air pressure adjustment for him. Also coming up, Dusty Davis in the 15. He is running 13th. He qualified 19th. What can you say about this guy? It's been a very solid run for him. A little bit free on entry to 1 and 2 for Dusty Davis. You know, Brendan Gaughan is also holding his own up there right now in the 14th position. This is usually a pretty good track for Brendan Gaughan, his truck has also been free through the most part of this race. They're looking at a track bar adjustment when they come back down to pit road. And Parker Kligerman also having a solid run. He qualified 20th. He is up to 15th position. He has not said much about his truck so far. Just trying to learn this racetrack. Struggling a little bit in traffic, though, Ray Dunlap.
Looking back to 16th position, Hermie, I see the number 8 of Nelson Piquet Jr. He has been moving forward throughout the race. Qualified 22nd. He is up right now to 16th, and he said he really likes the way his truck rolls through the center. He's a little bit tight off 4, but they're hoping to make some adjustments there. The number 19 of David Mayhew was my spotlight driver tonight, and they had some sort of an electrical problem. The truck lost power coming down the front straightaway, but it continues to roll right now, and he is currently in 17th position. The number 32 of Brad Sweet is in 18th position, and Brad said he just cannot turn his truck. It's very similar to what I told you about the number 3 of Austin Dillon. Very, very tight for the Great Clips truck. Hermie?
Thank you, Ray. Clay Rogers in the 92 car. Of course, we talked about him being the points leader coming into this race. He qualified 13th, a great qualifying run. Hasn't said much on the radio, although they have lost some spots on pit road when they came down. But so far, they're hanging in there in the top 20, looking to pick up a few more spots before this one's over, Ray.
Well, Hermie will finish up in 20th position with the Gunbroker Chevrolet, number 23 of Jason White. And I do want to say a shout out to his truck owner. That is Joe and his wife Megan, who had a baby today. Bentley was 7 pounds 1 ounce, comes into this world. Baby and mother doing fine. Jason White had a fueling problem earlier today. That's what's put him back in 20th spot.
Thanks, guys. Great work. 16th through 20th is a lap down. Then you got Carmichael, Pappas, Paluto, Marks, and Pursley. Your top 25. Again, it's Kyle Busch out in front of the field. He's got over a 2-second lead over Clint Boyer. Welcome back. Lucas Oil 150 under the third caution of the night, and this time it was the 5 of Travis Kvapil once again having tire issues. This time he hit the wall just a little bit harder, so they continue to work on that truck. The 18 of Kyle Busch and the 2 of Clint Boyer still 1 and 2.
There's a 5 of Travis Kvapil had already cut that right front tire down, made some pretty significant contact with the safer barrier.
What a tough day for Travis Kvapil. Luckily, nobody else hit him as he made his way to pit road. You can see the damage there. That thing's tore all to pieces.
He went on to pit road, and then once the caution was out, the field followed him. Let's go for the updates and Hermie Sadler.
Yeah, Rick, both the ThorSport trucks came to pit road, both in the top 5. Both of them are a little bit of strategy here. 2 tire stops. You can see Matt Crafton coming down, getting 2 tires. The 13 of Johnny Sauter also got 2 tires, trying to keep that track position that's so valuable here at Phoenix for the last run here, Ray.
And when we look back at this, Hermie, you'll see that it's pretty much the same kind of pit stops for the 88, also for the 2. Same thing for my 18 all the way down here at the front of the grid. It was 4 tires and no adjustments. Both the 18 and the 2 said they were very, very loose, but it was a great battle off of pit road. It was very, very close, but it appears NASCAR has said the 18 was first off pit road. Boyer will have to pass it from second.
So as we wind down the laps, 47 to go in this nail biter here at Phoenix. Welcome back to Phoenix International Raceway. The Lucas Oil 150 presented on speed by CiCi's Pizza. Just 45 laps to go. When we get the green flag, it'll be 44 to go. The Aaron's Lucky Dog goes once again to David Mayhew.
And he battled for that Aaron's Lucky Dog alongside Nelson Piquet Jr. You can see that wheel mark on the side of Mayhew's truck. They got together, they got sideways and almost spun out, both of them, but Mayhew was able to hang on, Hermie, and grab that Aaron's Lucky Dog. What's happening down there, bud?
Well, I just want you guys to watch the 13 of Johnny Sauter. He complained about his brakes on the racetrack and coming down pit road. He even asked Joe Shear and the gang to look at some brake fluid maybe to see if some was dripping out of the truck, but no brake fluid, but a little bit of concern on the brakes for Johnny Sauter.
Coming out of turn number 4 on the gas, it's Kyle Busch and Clint Boyer. A drag race down the front stretch into turn number 1.
Look at Ron Hornaday force his way to the inside in front of Matt Crafton.
Kyle Busch, the preferred line, able to stay in front of that 2 of Clint Boyer. Now the battle for third.
How about Matt Crafton? He's going to fight his way back to the inside of the 33.
Yeah, by Ron taking that real shallow entry into turn 1, that sort of hurt his exit off turn 2, and Matt was able to jump in that hole. But we got a spin in turn 4. Contact.
Yellow's out behind.
Max Pappas
behind you.
involved. He's able to pull away from it.
BJ McLeod there, bottom of your screen. The 07 has a lot of damage.
I think he hit the 77. Is that Justin? No, that isn't Justin.
The 7 of Miguel Paludo.
Those trucks look just alike, except that one has one less 7.
And that one was stopped on the racetrack.
And he got clobbered by BJ McLeod. Came in there and didn't have anywhere to go.
So our 4th caution of the night has come out. There you see the damage to the 07 of BJ McLeod.
Jason White took the wave around last time, and boy, did that work out for him. Now he was able to drive back around here. Watch this now. There's Ricky Carmichael. See the 7 of Paludo already turned around. Max Pappas does a nice job avoiding that. Unfortunately, BJ McLeod had nowhere to go.
This would be a good angle to see what happens.
Oh, got together with the 66 of Justin Marks.
And look, everybody's trying to go low, go low. BJ said, I want to go low too.
But somebody was there.
Just didn't have room.
No pressure from behind. All clear right there. Outside. Still outside. Still there. All right, guys, we're spinning here. Just lock it down. Just lock it down. Lock it down. Okay, Miguel. Get it started if you can. Get it started. Turn right back around and come back this way if you can.
A lot of experience on that radio. Yeah. Terry Cook, former competitor in the series.
He sounded so calm, Terry did.
Crew goes to work on the 7. They'll try to get him back out on the racetrack. Stay with us. Download the free Speed app for your phone. Keep speed at your fingertips and fuel your passion for racing between events with Speed on your phone. Get the latest stats, results, and news as soon as they become available. Download the app from iTunes or the Android market now. For the green flag flew, our storylines sprint to the finish. This one is a quick one.
Only 40 laps to go.
Yeah, how about catching the Kevin Harvick Incorporated group? Well, they've had so much success here. Right now, Kyle Busch is looking pretty strong. And then, can the stars rebound? Well, how about Ron Hornaday, Matt Craft, and Johnny Sauter all in your top 5. Todd Bodine as well, top 6. Green flag back in the air. Kyle Busch battling with the 2 of Clint Boyers. They go into turn 1.
How about Hornaday driving it hard down to the inside of his teammate? Or he's going to be able to get the advantage from the outside.
Now we're seeing the 13 of Johnny Sauter tucked in behind that 88. Then you've got the 30 of Todd Bodine running in the 6th position. Here comes Austin Dillon in the 3 looking to the inside.
Good side-by-side battle with Timothy Peters.
Whoa, he's going to spin him out.
Goes the 30 of Todd Bodine.
There you go.
Oh, hard contact. David Starr is involved in it.
Still coming.
Also the 15 of Dusty Davis. Austin Dillon got into the 30. Around went Todd Bodine. The smoke covered the entire racetrack. Nowhere to go for the 81 of David Starr or the 15 of Dustin Davis.
All 3 of those guys having such a good run here. All running up in the top 15.
Todd just got turned around there by Austin Dillon. Austin tried to get on the inside of Todd. See if we can catch a look if Todd came down or Austin just hit him in the back.
Looked like he caught the left rear corner. That was a little bit too early to see whether Todd came down or not. And look at the smoke screen. And those guys, David Starr, Dusty Davis, absolutely nowhere to go. Joey Coulter and Brendan Gaughan do a nice job avoiding that. They were in the smoke as well.
As did all those other guys that got quickly to the bottom to avoid the spinning truck of Todd Bodine. I'm sure the spotters were on the radio telling the drivers, go low, go low. Certainly no way for David Starr, Dusty Davis to get low.
Brendan Gaughan looked like he had to lock up the brakes to avoid getting involved in this.
Watch there now. Austin just going to run up there. Looks like he's just going to get into the left rear corner of Todd right there.
Just ever so slightly, but it's all it takes, Phil. These guys are driving right on the edge of control anyway every lap, and so Todd gets that little bump. And look at Timothy Peters
go by on the outside before Todd gets up to the high side of the racetrack.
Justin Johnson, too, filling that hole, but you can't see anything, literally nothing. These guys are just blinded, so you're just diving and hoping you find a hole.
That 22 of Joey Coulter and the 62 of Brendan Gaughan both locking the brakes up because they were right on the back bumper.
You see Todd had his left side tires very, very close to the yellow line there.
Yeah, Todd didn't do anything wrong. He just got run over. And and spun out, and it collected a couple. What a great job by Brendan Gaughan, another guy that couldn't see where he was going till the last second.
Still there. Watch the 30. Low, low. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on. Keep coming. Caution's out. Caution's out. Sorry.
Ray Dunlap.
Well, Todd Bodine just rolls away from his pit stall down here. The right front of the fascia is beat up pretty bad. The splitter is loose. They put some bear bond on that, but I expect they'll have to come back in and work on it a little bit more. For Todd, there wasn't much material left there for him to hook the bear bond to. It's kind of just hanging out in the middle of nowhere there. So we'll see if they're going to have to do a little more repair to the cosmetics of that Germain Toyota.
A lot of damage to the right front of that 30. He was running in the 6th position, battling with Austin Dillon when this happened. March 12th, the world's toughest truckers dance with the lady in black. But this is no tango. It's full throttle mosh pit at the track too tough to tame. Speeds are fast and mistakes are disastrous. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series from Darlington, March 12th at 4:30 Eastern, live on Speed. Rumor has it Casey Kane will be back in a truck at Darlington. Under the lights from Avondale, Arizona, Phoenix International Raceway. We've had 5 cautions. That's what slowed us most recently. Stay with us. Green flag coming up next. Welcome back. Kyle Busch, Clint Bowyer still running 1-2. And it's 3 Chevrolets right behind him. Hornaday, Crafton, and Sauter.
There's our
Nelson
lucky dog.
Jr.
Just barely lost a lucky dog on the previous caution flag when the 19 of David Mayhew got by him just before the caution came out, and that way this time he got it, stayed out there, stayed in front of all the other lead lap or 1 lap down trucks, and got his lucky dog back on the lead lap now.
What about our man Jason White? He stayed out on that one on the caution before this one, got the wave around, and now he's right back in contention. That truck's going to be tough here at the end of the race. His tires are fresher than everybody else.
That's right.
All right, guys, what do you think the AT&T call of the race has been up to this point?
I think a 2-tire call here for some track position. Maybe Matt Crafton, possibly his teammate Johnny Sauter, both doing it on this last round of pit stops.
And we saw Justin Johnson do it earlier in the race, so these guys knew it would work, and they made that call when it counted. Got that important track position here late in the race.
To the right rear tire changer had to pick up another lug nut off the ground. Right now he's sitting up in the 4th spot. His teammate Johnny Sauter right now showing 5th. There's Johnny right there in the Safe Auto Chevrolet.
That was our AT&T call of the race. Now with just 31 laps to go when they get to the start-finish line. Kyle Busch, Clint Bowyer once again 1 and 2. Green flag back in the air. Great restart by Kyle Busch. Here comes Hornaday looking to the inside of that 2 once again.
Clint Bowyer is able to gain that spot back. Johnny Sauter now is looking inside his teammate in a battle for 4th.
Those 2 door to door as they go into turn number 3. Sauter on the inside, Crafton on the outside. Crafton giving them plenty of room as they work their way through 3 and 4.
Looks like Johnny's got it. He's able to clear Crafton to take over the 4th spot.
Austin Dillon right on the back bumper of that 88 now. Just behind them, Timothy Peters, Justin Johnson.
Cole Witt, another rookie right behind them. I think we have about 6 rookies right now running up in the top 15.
And it feels good. Some of those guys we called as maybe being people that can transition from rookie contender to winner. They're showing they've got the stuff. Cole Witt right there running in the 9th spot.
Joey Coulter right now with a top 10 run going right behind Cole Witt in the 22 truck.
Justin Johnson making the move on the 17 of Timothy Peters. An impressive run for the driver of the 51.
He wasn't shy about driving down into turn 1, was he? Wow. Took it on down in there. Now he's going to try to look to the outside of Austin Dillon.
There comes Timothy Peters battling back to the inside of that 51.
We've seen Justin Moot make that outside work a lot.
Able to keep the momentum up in that 51 as he worked his way through 3 and 4 and now down the front stretch.
What about these 2 tires on the 88, Phil? He's not able to keep pace like his teammate. Oh, look at there.
And around goes Timothy Peters, coming through 1 and 2.
So green. So green. Yellow's out.
Smoke brings out the caution.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Timothy Peters, it looked like he was going to be able to refire his truck and move away, but there was so much smoke. We saw what happened when Todd Bodine spun, and the drivers got caught up in the smoke, and I think NASCAR did the right thing in throwing that caution flag.
Remember when I said things would heat up as we wound down? That's exactly what's happening. Timothy Peters went into a hole that I don't think Justin Johnson even knew was there, but Peters dove on down to the apron and drove on the inside of Johnson, and then they made contact.
Let's take another look at what just took place in 1 and 2.
Watch it, the black number 17. He follows the 51 in the corner. The 51 has to wait for him because contact in front of them between the 88 and the 3.
I think that the 51 thought he might dive underneath the 3, and when he went to when Johnson went to go under Austin Dillon, there was a truck there.
Yeah, chain reaction.
You could see the move to the left that Justin Johnson made. Timothy Peters had no way to expect that was going to happen.
And I think that was maybe even more invasive for Timothy Peters. He saw them season up, and he was just looking for a place to go.
Minimal damage for the 17. But track position very key with just 27 laps to go. So Timothy Peters goes around in turn 1 and 2. That brings out our 6th caution of the race. Now it's a sprint to the finish. Under 25 laps remain. Green flag back in the air. 24 laps of racing to go.
That's the best restart Clint Bowyer has had from the 2nd position. See if it's going to be enough.
Almost sideways he goes, going through 1 and 2. Has to check up. Falls back into the 2nd spot.
That was just enough for Kyle Busch to squirt out in front of him. Now look at side by side for 3rd. Sauter and Hornaday. Where have we seen this before?
Yeah, synchronized spinning at Kansas.
That was the most fun I've seen out of the trucks. Those guys were so desperate, so determined. Looks like they got that same attitude right now, side by side.
Yeah, laps winding down. We're starting to see it all the way back through the field. Ricky Carmichael back in the 18th spot. He's on the lead lap. We got problems with the 62. Brendan Gaughan into the wall.
Guys, let's get ready here.
Turns it back around. He will take that
Pancake
62.
the left side there, Brian. I'm looking some more here.
Yeah.
To the attention of his crew.
Good bit of damage to the left side of that South Point Toyota.
He's on the inside of David Mayhew and gets loose entering the corner, Phil. Had to chase the thing up the track, and when he did, he made contact with Mayhew and contact with the outside wall.
Yeah, Brendan was running just outside the top 10 in 11th when that happened. Had a decent run going for him.
And that's just a result of the fact that, you know, we got this baby winding down. You got to go.
Just over 20 laps to go. It's time to do it.
Brendan Gaughan starts to the 2011 season. Not what he was hoping for. We'll see if he can turn it around. Just 20 laps to go. Our Ram guts and glory from the racetrack today really has to be the men and women on our team, our crew. I tell you, the guys and girls have been working since really about the time the sun came up this morning. We've been right here on speed covering all the practices, qualifying, and now, of course, topping it off with the race tonight. But it's been a very long day. And I want to say thanks to everyone putting in the time.
Yeah, not just to the camera guys, all the tape operators, everybody in the TV compound.
Green flag back in the air. 19 laps of racing to go.
Bowyer just keeps getting more and more aggressive on these starts, trying to get that left front down on Kyle Busch's right rear. Get him kind of held up off the turn, but unable to do so. Great starts by Kyle.
Every single time he does it.
Hornaday's 3rd, Johnny Sauter 4th. Battle for 5th. Austin Dillon looks to the outside of that 88 to try to take 5th away from Matt Crampton.
Justin Johnson, the 51, is going to try to follow Austin Dillon to the outside of the 88.
Justin proved all day long he doesn't mind going to the top side, so that isn't anything new for him. Cole Witt right there too. I'd like to see all these new faces battling.
Oh, trouble!
Big contact. Ricky Carmichael as well as Parker Kligerman.
That was a huge crash. Parker had just been in the pits repairing.
Ridiculous.
Repairing some
damage. Get ready.
A lot of damage to that monster Chevrolet, Ricky Carmichael.
Someone thought whatever precipitated that was crazy, and man, the result of whatever precipitated it was crazy. Did you see that Ford truck hit that outside wall?
Yeah, as well as the 29 of Parker Kligerman.
A lot of damage to both race trucks.
Both these trucks were running on the lead lap. Here we go. They
29
just got together.
Yeah, looked like the 29 tried to take it in a little bit harder.
Did it appear that the 29 thought maybe the 4 would give him a hole there, and the hold wasn't available? It's sort of hard to sometimes pin blame.
He jumps to the inside. It looks like the 4 had already committed to go to the inside of the 30. I think Parker Kligerman drove it into a hole maybe that wasn't really there.
I think that's a good call, Phil. You know, and another thing, when you drive into a hole, it doesn't matter if it is late in the race. If somebody closes it, you need to be in control of your truck. So if he closes it, you know, you hit him, maybe that other guy crashes, but you don't. Obviously, Parker put himself into a position that he couldn't get out of.
Yeah, such a talented young driver there. As you were talking about, inside of 20 laps to go, it's time to try to gain some positions.
Ricky Carmichael out of his race truck. Obviously disappointed. The Aaron's lucky dog goes to Max Pappas. He will be back on the lead lap with the accidents to Carmichael and Kligerman.
I wonder if they'll put them two in the ambulance like they did the 2 Jeffs in Texas and let them discuss it in there.
Just Parker getting out of his truck. Pretty clean race for the first 2/3 of it. First 100 laps, only 2 cautions. And then the last 34, we've had 6 caution flags.
Kligerman taking a look at the rest of his truck. And into the ambulance he will go. They'll take him to the infield care center to have him checked out. Still out front, it's Kyle Busch. Clint Bowyer. How many more tries will Clint Bowyer get at getting by Kyle Busch on the restart? Laps are winding down as you see Max Pappas making his way around, and he gets the free pass.
The Aaron's lucky dog. Max is going to take advantage of.
Out in front, it's still Kyle Busch, Ray.
Rick, I wanted to add real quickly on what kind of a day Kyle Busch has had. Of course, tonight's race is 150 laps. Well, what has Kyle done today? Camping World practice was 41. Then he went to Nationwide and ran about 20. Cup practice, then Nationwide, then Cup practice, then qualifying. Guess what? He's had 152 laps during the day before this race even started.
So just a mere 300 laps he'll be putting behind the wheel.
Hey, why don't we see if we can talk to Kyle Busch? Hey, Kyle Busch, Phil Parsons up in the speed booth. You have a copy?
Yeah, man. What's up, Phil?
Well, not a whole lot. Now, you've been a busy guy. We were just talking about all the practicing you've done, and you ready for this night to be over?
Yeah, the bed sounds good here in about 30 minutes or so, but we could have been there by now if these guys would have been playing nice with each other the rest of the way. We had some good racing and some 50-lap long runs here, but, you know, this Dollar General Thunder has been fast all night. Hopefully we just don't get snookered on one of these restarts here, and, you know, all's can end well here.
That thing has been awfully strong on the restarts. Clint's been trying. You've been driving it in really hard, but you're able to beat him up off of 2.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit tricky, but, you know, Clint obviously knows a lot about how to do this stuff, so he's not one that's a slouch that's easy to beat. But, you know, like I said, the guys have done a great job with us, and, you know, the restart ratio is pretty good where I can get down the straightaway, but he seems to be able to side draft off my door a little bit, kind of getting it into turn 1, so he's got a little bit of the momentum getting down in here, but then it seems like the inside lane, the shorter way around, kind of prevails.
All right, buddy. Good luck and finish it off.
So, man, thanks, guys. Hope it's been a good show.
He always puts on a good show.
Well, you know,
what series he's running.
Rick, in his last 13 truck starts, he has 10 top 2 finishes.
That's not bad.
Including 7 wins. So, yeah, that's good show-esque, isn't it?
Well, it's been amazing, and we have to remember, put it into perspective, he started a race team last year. That was the first year for Kyle Busch Motorsports, and that's the stats you just gave from a first-year team. Amazing.
Hey, guys, let's see if we can talk to the guy that's trying to beat him, Clint Bowyer. Hey, Clint Boyer, Phil Parsons up in his speed booth. You have a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Clint, you're driving the same truck you were able to win with. You beat Kyle with this thing last November. You guys look pretty equal, but he just has a bit of an advantage on the restarts.
Yeah, I mean, I was making some mistakes there and learning this thing on a restart. I had the benefit of pretty much just being able to do whatever I wanted last time. So the last 2 times I've been a little bit better, but man, I think we're about dead even. Whoever has a clean air, we try to get around him on the outside here. That's about all I can do.
Well, you've given that truck a good ride like you always do. Try to finish it off here and see if you can get him on this restart.
All right, buddy.
How about Ron Hornaday? You never rule out Ron Hornaday, especially on restarts. One of the things that we've got to remember is Kyle Busch and Clint Boyer, they're not running full time in the Truck Series, so they're not receiving points for where they finished, but Ron Hornaday will.
Yeah, Ron Hornaday,
maximum points.
If Ron Hornaday finishes in the 3rd spot, then he would get 3rd place points. They just wouldn't issue 1st or 2nd place points, but that would be more points than anybody else gets, and that's the most important thing.
41 points would be what Ron Hornaday would receive.
Especially when you're digging out of a hole. You know, they got themselves in a bind in Daytona with a crash down there, and now this finish will certainly start their trek back toward the top.
Take a look at our race summary after 137 of our scheduled 150 laps. Right now out front is Kyle Busch, but there's only been 2 that have been out front, Clint Boyer and then Kyle Busch.
I think it's pretty safe to say that Kyle Busch and Clint Boyer have dominated this race.
The caution,
you're right.
Caution car is a close 3rd. It's been out in front for about 36 laps now, so these guys are getting serious here at the end. Clint said he's tried some things on the restarts, and he's right. He's been really closer.
He said he's been learning, too, as he's gone. This may be the last restart he's going to get.
We'll see how educated Clint Boyer is when he comes back around. They're lining him up 2 by 2. When they cross the stripe, it'll be 11 laps of racing to go. And again, we have 3 attempts at a green-white checker if we need them.
Mikey, if you're Clint Boyer right now, you've been watching all these restarts. You've seen how he's gained on it. Is there anything that you've seen that you would try to do differently right now?
I think, you know, when you do repeated restarts, he just needs to pay attention really closely to where Kyle takes off. If he takes off at the same place, he might have to be getting into a position, Phil, where he's just going to have to anticipate it. He's going to have to try to maybe jump Kyle a little bit, or at least try to guess when Kyle's going to go and remain dead even with him down the straightaway. If he can stay even with him, that's where he's getting beat, is on the straightaway. When he gets down to turn 1, he can hang there for a second. If he could go into that corner even with him, he might come off too with the lead.
And just like Kyle said, Clint's been able to side draft him a little bit. If he can be dead even with him, then he can even side draft him more.
Kyle Busch doesn't want to make a mistake this close to the checkered flag. Randy Kaiser is taking the pace car off of the racetrack onto pit road once again. Green flag back in the air. Kyle Busch on the inside, Clint Boyer on the outside. Busch with another good restart.
There's such a huge advantage to being able to dictate the pace like Kyle Busch is able to do right now.
And Phil, you well know Kyle's not going to start the same spot every time. He's moved that thing around 10, 12, 15, 20 feet every time, just doing something different every restart so that Clint can't guess what he's going to do.
He has a 4-truck length lead coming out of turn number 4 over Clint Boyer running second, then Hornaday. 10 laps of racing remain from Phoenix International Raceway.
How about Cole Whitt, that Red Bull truck, that 60 truck right there, that Stacy Compton's team, Turn 1 Motorsports. What a terrific job they have done here, bouncing back from not making the race at Daytona.
See Matt Crafton right there on his tail, but you're right. Impressive what Cole Whitt's done here today. And then right behind Crafton, the 51 of Justin Johnson, another guy that we're just impressed by.
First ever start in the Camping World Truck Series, and he has really held his own. He's running in the 8th spot.
Joey Coulter, his second start ever in the Camping World Truck Series after Daytona. He's running 9th.
This is going to be a fun year watching these kids go up there and challenge the veterans.
A newcomer, rookie, has never been to victory lane in Phoenix. In the Camping World Truck Series, we see Timothy Peters making his way by one of those problems with David Mayhew.
Stay high. I'll see you in there going under you.
What a tough break.
All the way up, you got something coming too wide.
Just 8 laps to go. Loses an engine. Running up in the top 15.
Start of his night, extremely good. Had a great qualifying effort. Qualified in the 5th spot. And now California native trying to make the hard left turn onto pit road.
I think he's got an extra vowel in that name on the city.
So
California.
He makes his way onto pit road. Kyle Busch still with a comfortable lead over Clint Bowyer. There you see the gap between 1 and 2. Kyle Busch's last 4 starts at Phoenix back in 07 was able to go to victory lane, but then has finished second to KHI the last 3 races.
And by the way, KHI finished second to him in that race he won.
And by the way, it looks like they're going to finish second to him again tonight.
You're riding off Clint Bowyer already with 5 laps to go.
Well, Kyle looks pretty strong. There's our point leader coming into the weekend. Clay Rogers trailing Max Pappas there. These guys running along in 15th and 16th spot. Every position would be big to Clay to try to hang on to that point lead.
Right now he is 1 point behind as they run on the racetrack to Matt Crafton.
And you know what that means, Phil, with our new point system. It's pretty simple. I need to pass a guy.
He needs to get by Max.
Go clear by 1, 5 to go.
Crossing the stripe, 4 laps of racing to go for Kyle Busch. Good battle. Max Pappas, Clay Rogers, the 9 and the 92. That 93 of Shane Sieg, a lap down in the 23rd position.
And he really should not be racing this 9 truck right now. He's a lap down. Let these guys on the lead lap finish it up themselves.
Craig Ghost in the 46 just behind that 92.
Yeah, and he's the guy that the 93 is running from. Craig Ghost is trying to grab that spot from Sieg, so he doesn't want to just give up right now. But, man, he's got a couple of determined guys that are trying to get through that door. Liable to knock it down.
A lot of racetrack still between the 18 and the 2. This is a battle for 7th. Matt Crafton, Justin Johnson. Get a great run for that driver, the 51, Justin Johnson, trying to challenge the 88 of Matt Crafton for that 7th spot.
Looks like he's got a better truck than Matt here late in the going, Phil, but getting around Matt and being faster than him is 2 different things, I think.
We're hearing the 19 of David Mayhew broke a fuel pump. It was not an engine, but a fuel pump.
Working his way through 3 and 4 as he exits turn number 4. The white flag will go in the air for Kyle Busch.
White flag here, white flag. That's the red
50. One more time around for Kyle Busch.
Pretty good separation until this battle back here for the 7th spot with Crafton and Johnson.
Busch, Bowyer, Hornaday, Sauter, and Dillon, your top 5. It has been a 2-truck race tonight. The 18 of Kyle Busch and the 2 of Clint Bowyer. Coming at it, turn number 4.
All right, we did it, boys. Good job. Woo!
They definitely did it, dominating at Phoenix International Raceway.
Matt Crafton's going to prevail in that battle for 7th, but a great run by Justin Johnson. First ever start, finishes 8th.
There's new wife Samantha. His first win as a married man.
Probably first of many.
Yeah, I would say yes. That is the start of something great. And let's go trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. I'm up on the pit box with Eric Phillips. And Eric, whenever you guys got beat here last November, you said we got to go back to work. It looks like it paid off.
Yeah, the guys, big thanks to the guys in the chassis shop. They put their heads together. We went to work, built a whole new truck. It's a lot different than anything else we've got at the shop, and it's been really good all weekend. So just thanks to the guys. We didn't want to get beat again. Those Harvick guys were beating us up on the short track, so we feel like we got a good truck to race with them now.
8 wins in this series a year ago. What's the goal for 2011?
10, so I can beat Wren on all time. I'm going after Wren. I told him I got age on my side.
All right, yeah, you've got time too. Eric Phillips notches another win, and Kyle Busch gets victory number 25.
Hey, Phil, how could that truck be a lot different than anything they got in the shop? What have they done to that thing?
Well, I don't know. Their old trucks were pretty decent, I thought. They only won 7 times last year.
One of the things Eric Phillips needs to remember is
Rick Red is his boss. He decides if he gets to be the crew chief for that team.
That is the 87th win for Kyle Busch in all three major series, and that ties him for 6th all-time in our over 60-year history of NASCAR with Jeff Gordon.
The runner-up standing by with Hermie Sadler.
Yeah, catch up, Clint Boyer. Runner-up finish. I know it wasn't what you wanted. Anything you could have done different this time with the truck to get it done?
Man, I knew once he beat us out of the pits. I mean, it's just like me on the first, the first run. I mean, just clean air for whatever reason. You just drive off and leave, and you're about a tenth and a half better than the field. And it was the same way when we were here in the fall when we won. It was Kyle and I knew in practice he was going to be the one I had to beat, and unfortunately just didn't get him beat. But appreciate everybody at KHI for bringing me a good truck, and Ty and everybody on board. Thank you.
A lot of restarts at the end of this race. Anything different from restart to restart?
Man, other than the fact that I suck, I don't know. It's just one time I would spin the tires, the next time I'd hit the rev limiter. I mean, these things hit the rev limiter so much faster than our cup cars. You're so used to hearing them, 9,800, and then this thing hits a rev limiter at about $8,000. You're like, oh no! But come up short.
Well, he still finished second. Good run for Clint Boyer. Rick?
Thanks, Herbie. Kyle Busch gets to truck win number 25 faster than anyone has ever done it before in just 87 starts. Welcome back. The truck is in victory lane. Let's go down to Ray Dunlap and hear from the driver.
Here comes Kyle Busch out of the Dollar General Toyota. He gets a shower. Sparks begin to fly. The confetti's in the air. Kyle, the statistic that they're telling me is 25 victories. You're the fastest person to ever get there in any of the NASCAR's top 3 divisions. Can you savor this moment?
No, it's pretty amazing, and it's been that way for a long time. I've got a lot of great people that have stood behind me from the beginning, and those that are with us here tonight with Rick Dreiling, Ellen, Amy, the family there, and having those guys here, Laura Rutledge, everybody from Dollar General. These guys are phenomenal to work with. They're fun to work with, and I love getting them to victory lane. They're so fun. But this Toyota Tundra was awesome, man, and the results showed that we had a really good truck. I was scared of there in the beginning. I was like, man, it's going to come down to like last fall. Clint's going to walk the dog on this one. But Rick and Eric made some changes to this thing and really brought it to life. So it was just phenomenal. And I can't say enough about Combos, Flexco, Triad, Joe Gibbs Driven Racing Oil, Camping World, the series. Great fun to come out here and race into these guys. And congratulations to Hornaday bringing home a good 3rd place. I know he's battling for really good points. But again, electric sunglasses to fans. I mean, it's cool to come out here and win in Phoenix. It's kind of the West Coast. I'm a West Coast boy, so this is neat for me.
Okay, Daytona didn't go as well as you wanted to, but you come out here with the win tonight. Tell us about the goals that you've set for this team for 2011.
Well, I mean, the goals are, I don't know that we really set any goals. We just know that if we can go out and reach our potential every week, that the results will come, and so the guys did a great job tonight on pit road. I mean, they were phenomenal there, and they had some great pit stops. We got a couple different guys because we sent a couple guys to the nationwide team at Joe Gibbs, so we're a feeder team. Even though JD doesn't think we are, we're still a feeder team for those guys, so it's fun for us. We love coming out here with Kyle Busch Motorsports and winning like this. And I want to say hey to my kids that are here from the Sunshine Acres home, the Kyle Busch Foundation. We had about 50 of them here tonight, so it was cool to get those guys tickets. Thank the Raceway for that.
Congratulations. I think they reached their potential tonight. Now let's go to Hermie Sadler.
Thank you, Ray. Johnny Sauter, 4th place finish, and you guys worked for this one from the time you unloaded your truck this morning.
Yeah, for sure. Truck got a little bit away from me down there in turn 1 and 2, and I spun out early, but huge recovery for our Safe Auto Curb Record Chevy. Proud of Joe Shear, all the guys at ThorSport. Man, we did have to work for this one tonight, and just proud of everybody. Pit stops are solid. We've come a long way since last year on that department, and I told the guys if we can keep working that hard and get our trucks a little bit better, we can win races. So just proud of everybody, and I had fun tonight. I had to work pretty hard for this one, and just what a great race here at Phoenix Racing or Phoenix Racetrack, and I hate to see this place get tore up and repaved, but that's the way it is, and just overall a great night.
4th place finish, and now, guys, he is 4th in points, only 4 points out.
Yeah, over his shoulder, you saw Matt Crafton standing back there, and he is our new point leader. Kyle Busch, unbelievable. 50th top 5 finish in his career. He continues to rewrite the record books in NASCAR.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is presented on speed by CiCi's Pizza, home of the endless pizza, pasta, salad, and dessert buffet. Brought to you in part by Camping World and the Good Sam RV Club. Everything you need for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, insurance, roadside assistance, and more. And by Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Keep your edge. Point standings. After 2 races, Matt Crafton on top of that list. Clay Rogers drops down a spot. Cole Witt, Johnny Sauter, Timothy Peters, your top 5.
How fun is our top 5? That's amazing. Clay Rogers doing a great job of hanging in there, and Cole Witt, he missed the race in his truck at Daytona, borrowed him a truck. He's going to leave Phoenix 3rd in the points. It couldn't probably go much better than that, I bet.
We talked about the top of the show. Ron Hornaday and some of those guys need to rebound here. Ron Hornaday got the maximum points, or most points of anybody, jumps all the way up to the 10th position, only 14 points out of the lead.
And let's go hear from Ron Hornaday. He is with Hermie Sadler.
Ron Hornaday comes home with a top 5 finish, 3rd tonight. A good rebound after what you went through at Daytona, though. Good, solid run.
Yeah, we can just skip Daytona from now on. I mean, we just haven't had a good finish the last couple of years. But this Sturgeon Williams truck was good. We got something to build on. Jeff Hensley and myself, we talked about how we came down here, and it wasn't right. KHI trucks are really good, and we're going to come back with this package. It's just way too tight. Not as good as the 2 of the 18, but it was a good run for the Sherwin Chevrolet, and unbelievable day. I mean, it was fun.
Ron Hornaday comes on with a 3rd place finish tonight.
Kyle Busch, big smiles as he continues to celebrate victory lane. We'll look at our race recap. Again, 150 laps. Started off with a beautiful sunset. Clint Boyer and Austin Dillon on the front row.
Clint got the initial start, led the early part of this race.
First caution came out. That was the 10 of Chase Mattioli with tire problems.
And check this battle out. Ricky Carmichael gets sideways, gets into the side of Travis Kvapil, and that resulted in this. Cutting down one of Travis's tires. He goes for a spin. We only had a few cautions early, but we made up for it late.
Yeah, here's our 3rd caution then when Travis cut down a right front tire, so a lot of damage to that 5 truck that pretty much put him out of the race.
BJ McLeod and the 7 of Miguel Paludo, problems bringing out the 4th caution.
Yeah, BJ McLeod had nowhere to go. Here's Austin Dillon, gets in the back of Todd Bodine. A couple guys come along, David Starr and Dusty Davis, with absolutely nowhere to go in the smoke screen.
That's our version of the big one here at Phoenix. A lot of trucks could have been involved in this thing, but great driving by some of our guys.
A little bit of a chain reaction right there. Timothy Peters gets turned around.
Around goes Brendan Gaughan in the 62 into the wall.
This was a big crash too, Phil. Look at the impact these guys have. The 29 just shot into a hole that wasn't there, wiped out Ricky Carmichael. Look at those trucks pound that outside wall.
Thank goodness, though, for the safer barriers.
Kyle Busch, so good on the restarts, was able to outduel the 2 of Clint Boyer and make it all the way back around for the checkered flag.
He's getting pretty good at those donuts, too.
He's had quite a bit of practice. 87 wins in his career. Now let's go hear from young Austin Dillon. He's with Hermie.
Austin Dillon, a top 5 finish, 7th here last year, 5th here this year. You're working your way up there. Pretty good solid run for you guys tonight.
Yeah, man, this track, it changes so much throughout the night. I'm trying to keep up with the changes. At the beginning, I got loose, and then in the middle of the run, I started getting tight when we adjusted to it. So started out loose, got tight, came back to okay right there at the end. So for all in all, for the Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet, it was a good finish for us there. That's what we needed, just to knock down a top 10.
Well, they got a top 10 finish and move up to 6th in the point standings, guys.
Thanks, Hermie. Toyota's got to be happy. Since joining the Camping World Truck Series, they have 78 wins out of 178 7 starts. Gorgeous pictures coming to us once again for the Lucas Oil 150, presented on speed by CiCi's Pizza. The hat dance continues for Kyle Busch. He's getting used to it. Kyle Busch Motorsports grabbed its 9th win here tonight. It's the first time that Kyle Busch Motorsports has won the Phoenix race. Our points leaders now standing by with Hermie.
Want to catch up with Matt Crafton, 7th place finish, but more importantly, I know it's early. We got you up front in the points lead so far after 2 races.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. Definitely a good thing. I mean, this Menard Chevy, I mean, it was good on long run. And we lost so many spots on pit road the first time. We opted to try to take 2 right there at the end, and that bit us. I felt like a sitting duck out there with them 2 tires, and them little 2-lap sprints that we were working on. That was my only saving grace. And we had that one at the end, and I was definitely a sitting duck. But all in all, not a bad night for the Menards Chevy. Just got to go on to Darlington and see if we can put them further behind us and got to run better. Like I said, the thing was really good on long run, just wasn't real good on the short run. But all in all, not a bad night.
It was a tale of 2 races. Long runs at the beginning of the night, short runs at the end. But still, Matt salvaged a good finish, and he is your new points leader.
And a very good run, obviously, once again for Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick Incorporated. Now, those 2 teams have dominated when we come to this racetrack, either finishing first or second. Kyle Busch now has 2 wins. Kevin Harvick Incorporated has 3 wins.
And Kyle Busch had to be mistake-free at the end of the race. He had the dominant truck, but Clint Boyer kept him honest. He stayed right on him, restart after restart. Kyle just did his job, and he held that lead, and there's just nothing Clint could do once Kyle got going on the restart.
We talk about how good Kyle Busch is when he runs his trucks. As you mentioned, 25th win and 87 starts, something like that. But whenever you have Kyle Busch in the field and you have Clint Boyer, Kevin Harvick running that 2 truck, it always runs well. They actually, KHI had 4 different winners last year. Had Hornaday won, Elliott Sadler won, Clint and Kevin himself all won driving KHI trucks. So that's how good that stuff is. And, we know Kyle Busch's stuff's good, too.
Well, we're going to have a quick break, and we're obviously going to take next week off. But then it's off to Darlington, the Lady in Black, the track too tough to tame. Who will be able to tame that racetrack? And again, Casey Kane is scheduled to be running in that race. So he will definitely be one that we're going to be watching.
In that number 18 truck for Kyle Busch. How about that?
Coming up next is Speed Center with Adam Alexander. You don't want to change the channel. Again, a big thank you to everybody here on Speed, both behind the cameras, in the trucks. A long day, but it was a great finish, especially for Kyle Busch, grabbing his 25th win in the Truck Series.
In 2 weeks, it's time for the Camping World Truck Series to pay a visit to the Lady in Black. Last year, Todd Bodine proved to be the driver too tough to tame as he dominated at Darlington on the way to his 2nd championship. Will it be Todd's night again, or will someone else figure out the egg-shaped oval? Tune in to find out. Chris Devoda hosts the setup starting at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, followed by flag-to-flag coverage, only on Speed.